So now we're gonna bring on David. Please, I'm here. I've known this man for several years, and I still don't know how to pronounce your name.
David. No, I'm just kidding. It's Majit.
Majit.
Majit, yes.
Majit. So Majit. Majit.
Yes.
David Majit. So he is a doctor of audiology. He's from Arizona School of Health and Sciences and completed his clinical fellowship, University of California, San Francisco. And he has been working in the health hearing industry for 50 years. Wow. He doesn't look old. Wow. He's presently the account manager for Oticon. Thank you. So, and then Ashley Chun will be presenting. She's education and training specialist for Oticon West Region, and she's responsible for new and continuing education programs for the audiologists. But she's here today to talk to us on our level. And she's going to answer the question, can one get it all in today's available hearing aids? That's one of the questions. And also, she's going to talk about artificial intelligence and what factors should the audiologist and the patient consider when fitting and purchasing a hearing aid. Who's going to come up first? Okay, so David, come on up here.
Sorry, I'm just going to share my presentation real quick, and then we'll get started. Maybe. Oh, Tony, they want to dim the lights. Oh, I don't.
When I was recognizing my volunteer Jeff wasn't here, Jeff is here now. He's our treasurer. I wanted to say that.
Okay, well, first of all, Ashley and I would love to welcome you all to take the time to join us today. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. Is this better? Okay, thank you for the input. I appreciate it. Well, again, thank you for joining us. We encourage you to ask any questions that you have. We will have time between each segment that Ashley presents to take questions. So please, we encourage you because your questions are going to be important, not just to yourselves, but to the people in the room. I did want to thank Tony very much. I think she's done an awesome job, and for no monetary compensation. So really, Tony, congratulations. You do a great job. Okay. I also want to tell Bob he's a very lucky man. That's all I have to say on his bride. So congratulations, Bob. Anyway, you know, hearing is a very complicated issue, and I know many of you in this room are wearing hearing aids, and I think you'd probably agree with me that they're less than perfect. On the other hand, if you've been wearing hearing aids for a long time, you know that there's been some very significant improvements, and I think that will continue. And we're going to talk about the latest improvements from Oticon, and I think that in a lot of respects, you'll see that there have been some great strides in enabling people not just to hear, but to understand. So with that said, I'm going to introduce my colleague, Dr. Ashley Chun.
All right, I'm going to hold the microphone because if not, I'll start slipping away, and I don't want that for you guys. My name is Ashley Chun. Before joining Oticon pretty recently, I was actually an audiologist for about 4.5 years with the VA clinics. Is there any veterans in the group? Okay, awesome. Thank you for your service. Well, I actually had the opportunity of also opening. I know that they're going through a flood. They just recently went through it, but I actually had the opportunity to open the Laguna Hills VA clinic as well. But it's really nice to be back in this area. And today I have the opportunity to talk a lot about Oticon. Whether you wear Oticon or not, it is a great way to just make sure you know what's up to date with technology in general. So we want to make sure that you also know what is a little different about Oticon than maybe what you are wearing today. Also, what is there to offer with Oticon as well. So if at any point you cannot hear me, please raise your hand, let me know, or you could give me a little sign. You might be my stage monitor to go up. I'd be more than happy to make sure that I am enunciating as well. All right, well, I do want to ask a couple questions to the group, and I know that Tony already asked some of these questions, but I do want to just ask in general. And if you are in Zoom, please feel free. If you are pretty fast with your fingers, please feel free to put it in the chat. But how many of you would say hearing has become more of an effort than it used to be? Okay, yes. Maybe in different situations, maybe in this situation, a little bit more in crowded environments as well, for sure. And if you don't mind sharing, because I want it to be engaged, I'm going to, number one, my goal is to keep you all awake as much as possible. But number two, I want you guys to learn. And a great way of learning is for you to be able to participate as well. So in which situations do you notice your hearing loss the most? And please feel free. Yes, I'll repeat the answer. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if David was my mic person and he's back there eating cookies. All right, he's coming. Dave's coming. So again, in which situations do you notice your hearing loss the most?
Mine is with travel.
Okay.
It's become far more difficult, because things are very sensory as you lose your hearing, and airports are very loud. They're very big. And it's not just the airport situation. I do a lot of international travel. I'm also finding it's very difficult on the airplane. With the monitors, you just don't have access to the things that you would at home if you have some kind of a device where you can Bluetooth. So I'm just finding travel to be the one area that I'm having a real struggle with lately. I know we all talk about restaurants and events, but me personally, I just don't want to give up the things that I love and enjoy.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else want to share some of the situations that they notice their hearing loss the most? I believe probably might open the chat.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Driving in the car.
Driving in the car. Yes.
If I'm in the back seat particularly.
Yep. Completely fair. If there's, a driver and a passenger, they're talking forward, their speech is going forward. You cannot read their lips. You cannot read their faces. As much as we don't want to, we do rely on reading lips. I rely on reading lips as well. So want to make sure with that. I do want to open this chat because it looks like a couple people are responding, but my mouse just disappears.
Ashley, we have one other input.
Yes.
Okay, in large groups,
Yep.
where there's a lot of background noise.
Yes, large groups and background noise for sure. Okay. So, I know she already asked this question. Whether you are wearing hearing aids or not, who in this room has already explored some kind of hearing solution? Whether you've been wearing hearing aids for a long periods of time or not, how many of you guys have been wearing hearing aids, have tried hearing aids in general? Okay, good majority of you. Good to know. And when you are trying to find those hearing solutions, whether you pursued it or not, what are some barriers for you when you have explored it? What are maybe some of the reasons that might have held you back at one time? Oh, hold on 1 second.
What you say is very important. We want the group to hear it.
Originally, I went to a group, and the people there were not audiologists. It wasn't clear to me that they were technicians
Okay.
only, and no satisfaction until I got in touch with Tony.
Okay, good. So if you go into maybe not an audiologist, or that's where you had the least amount of satisfaction. Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Tony, do you mind opening up the chat? Because some people are responding in the chat and I can't. There we go. Not when my presentation's open, unfortunately. Yes.
Okay. The problem that I have is that it seems to be the hearing aids that I have do not have enough filters in them. You know, they basically have 3 bands, and you know, my graduate degree is in digital processing.
Okay.
So I know that they can do a lot better and put a lot more filters in there, which would give you a more realistic hearing like your ear does. And that's one thing I'm interested in seeing, if Oticon has a 6 or 8 filter, you know,
Okay.
that you can really adjust
Yeah.
to your needs. Because if you adjust the high range,
Yep.
then it blasts all the way up and it just completely distorts.
Exactly. So great observation. So with different channels, it could also be different technology levels as well. Different technology levels, you do actually have a higher chance of getting up to 24 channels each ear. So you do have an opportunity to get more diverse sound as well. Okay, well, let's get started about what's a little bit different about Oticon specifically. So in general, how do we hear? And I'm not going to give an anatomy class, don't worry, but there's more than just the ear. There is, our ear where, our ear canal where there's earwax. Some of you guys may use Q-tips. I'm not going to have you raise your hands because I'm not going to have a little bit of time with that. But even behind our eardrum, there's our little middle ear bones that vibrate. Then we have our cochlea, we have our hair cells, we have all of this information going up to the powerhouse, which is our brain. So our brain is a system. I like to say that our ears are the gateway to our brain, because how many of you in this situation have heard, I can hear you, but I can't understand you? Yep. Right? Exactly. And I say that a lot to my patients too. Has there been situations, whether it was your spouse or your friend, maybe they're talking to you and then you realize that they're talking to you and you go, what'd you say? And then they go, oh, you didn't hear me this whole time, right? Because that attention of where our brain is focused on might be somewhere else. So it is important for us to give access, not just for our ears to hear, but also for our brain to understand. And one of the jokes that my veterans would commonly say to me is, Dr. Chun, there's nothing up here. What are you talking about? No. There is a lot up there, and we want to make sure that we are giving you the sound that you are able to have access to. So with Oticon, we have something to make sure of is we want to make sure your ears and your brain work together to help you follow those conversations, especially in those noisy places or even at home when you're by yourself. So it is really important to take care of your hearing health care. And I did have a lot of patients when I asked them, what took you so long? Some of them would say, I had a lot of other health problems. The hearing kind of just went to the back of my mind. It wasn't a priority for me. There has actually been a lot of research that There's been a lot of research that hearing has been associated with dementia, our cognition, memory loss, just in general, that if we're not able to give our brain the sound that it needs, that it is going to be deprived of that. Unfortunately, hearing aids is not going to give you exactly what you've been missing with your brain and your ears and maybe how you heard 20, 30, 40 years ago, but we want to be able to give support to what you have now. How many of you, whether you wear hearing aids or maybe if you want to go back in time when you didn't wear hearing aids, that you would feel so tired at the end of the day because you had so much listening effort in those conversations, right? I see some nods in the crowd. Yeah, you would feel so exhausted because there would be so many times where we would just keep trying to listen and listen and listen, and it would just be too hard. It would be too much, too overwhelming. So listening takes effort. Whether we want it to be effortless or not, we want to make sure that we are paying attention to this. So I'm going to actually have an activity with you all, and it is participation because it's not going to be as fun if you guys don't participate with us. But I am going to show you a word on the slide, and what I want you all to do is just repeat the word as fast as possible. And I'm going to go through these slides very quickly, okay? And I want everyone in Zoom also doing it at home as well. So let's get started.
Toast, basket, table, lunch, blinds.
Ooh.
Yeah, what? No. Toast.
Shoes. Okay. Whoa. What happened? Right? When we get into these complex kind of slides, you can see that our brain is not used to seeing those words in a different form. It's not easy, right? It's not what it was used to. It's not normal. And that's when it gets related to our hearing. We are probably able to hear really well one-on-one in conversations when you are able to directly look at someone. No problem, probably, right? However, when we do get into those group conversations, when we do get into those complex places, our brain takes a lot more effort to make sense of what's going on. So that is probably why you're having a little bit more fatigue, especially after you maybe have gone and ran a lot of errands, grocery store, all of these different things, and you come home and you're like, woof, I am exhausted. And some of you may take off your hearing aids and say, I don't want to hear anymore, right? Well, some common signs of hearing difficulty in general. People seem to be mumbling. Yes, I see some nods too. It's harder to follow a conversation in meetings, restaurants, or noisy places. And also, you tend to even limit social activities. So also, I want to give you guys a hands off because you are here today. You did not avoid a social situation even with your hearing loss, which also takes a step in your journey too. I want to show this slide with a raise of hands, even on Zoom. How many of you experienced this situation? You're sitting there in a group conversation. Everything seems fuzzy. Everything seems blurry. I see a thumbs up. Yes. I do see some hands, some nods. And for those who have hearing aids, some of you may have a special noise program, maybe a speech and noise program, and maybe your hearing care professional has kind of told you what this is going to do is make things very directional, meaning that if you are sitting in front of the person you want to, it's going to pick up that person. It's going to follow your nose. Has anyone heard that? That directional microphone? Yes, I see some hands. The pro is this, is, let's see, if you and me were eating at a restaurant and I was sitting across from you, that sounds great. I'm sitting across from you. You're going to be able to pick up everything that I'm saying. But let's add Dave into that group, and let's add Tony into that group. If you are facing me, and let's say Tony says something, you're like, hold on. I need to turn my whole body to make sure that I'm listening to you, right? Also, what if you and me are sitting at a restaurant and there's a speaker behind me? You're picking up that speaker that's also behind me because it is that front directional microphone. So that is something that I want to mention specifically with Oticon technology. Our core philosophy is called brain hearing. We want to make sure we are supporting your brain in its listening rather than making it more difficult for you. So our goal is to provide you that open access to sound scene so that you growing up, you have heard everything around you, but you have kind of learned what to pick and choose of what you wanted to hear. With hearing loss, when we have everything kind of turned down and you don't wear hearing aids for a while, how many times when you have worn if you guys can remember, the first set of hearing aids you've ever worn, you're probably like, whoa, this is a lot. This is overwhelming. This is a lot of noise because your brain isn't used to all of that sound. So we want to be able to support your brain to recognize all of that speech going on around you. And we are able to do this with AI, so artificial intelligence. I know that there might be some hesitations of AI. I sometimes have hesitations of AI as well. It's a lot. It's very fast. It could be scary too. But AI is actually in our hearing aids, especially our next generation of devices and Oticon's current portfolio. Because if you know about hearing aids, yes, we can crank things up louder. We can make it as loud as possible, but we cannot make it clearer for you without AI. So with AI, how many of you in this room and in Zoom have credit cards? Okay, good majority of you. Credit cards, yes. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask for your credit card information. But how many of you in this unlucky group, including myself, have gotten a call or a message that kind of a unrelated charge, a charge that you might not have done has come up? A lot of you guys, and we've had to get new credit cards. And I promise I'm getting back to Oticon with this. When you think about it, there is not one single person that's behind the computer looking at all of your charges and seeing those different patterns of how you are buying whatever you're buying, right? The thing is, with just fraud in general, the banks have essentially what we call a network. And they use AI in this form is that they taught this network different patterns, specifically your buying patterns, so that let's say if Dave bought some bagels down the street, they're going to do a red flag if Dave also bought some tires in Montana, right? They're like, this is not right. That network was taught with Dave's buying patterns. So when I think about that network that was trained, let's talk about Oticon, specifically hearing aids, how we utilize AI in our devices. We have a network that was trained with over 12 million sound samples, from dogs barking, kids screaming, noise, dishes clanking, speech, so that when you go into these environments, that the hearing aids are able to detect that speech, detect that noise, and provide the support that your hearing care professional put in of enhancing that speech and suppressing some of that noise, but still also providing that open access to the sound scene that your brain needs. So it's really just to make things a lot clearer for you. With Oticon, we've actually had AI in our hearing aids for a while, over 6 years since 2020. But we've never really said it was AI because in our society now, it's what's happening now, right? And AI has jumped up and a lot of people are talking about it. But we've actually had it in our hearing aids since 2020, and we have continued to enhance it, train it, process it even more effectively, and making sure that we are able to provide you the most amount of support that we can through the devices. Even though other manufacturers may say that they have AI, and they probably do, I don't know exactly how their AI may work, but something that makes Oticon specifically unique with our form of AI, it is something that is always on. And you might think, Dr. Chun, don't you think that that AI and that hearing support should always be on? I completely agree with you, but some other manufacturers, you have to maybe switch into a different program to get that extra boost in noise. Sometimes it's only offered in the highest premium technology level. With Oticon, our AI is something that's always on. If you're in a quiet room like this, and maybe we walk outside, it's a little bit noisier, a little bit busier, it's going to seamlessly provide that support that your hearing aids and that you need. Also, one thing that I personally love about Oticon is that it's offered in a wide variety of different styles, no matter if you have severe hearing loss, a mild hearing loss, if you want something that goes in your ears, behind the ears, as well as if you are pretty cost conscious or cost concerned, it's not going to be something that's only afforded or only offered in our premium level. It's going to be also offered in all of our other technology levels as well. So that's something that's very important to us because we want to make sure that we are continuing to provide Oticon support as needed. I'm going to stop here for any questions. I know AI is a lot, and that's as far as I really want to go, because you as, patients, it's also an audiologist or a hearing care professional's job to know all of this. But this is also really just a bonus for you of what could be offered in hearing aids. But don't worry, we're going to talk about some of our products as well.
I just wanted to mention that.
It's the basket. I'm going to ask you for donations. We'll do it right now. Put that one there.
I wanted to mention that
Keep passing it around.
we obviously work with Oticon. There are several other major companies, and they all have nice products. I mean, there's not really a stinker in the group, but we feel that can you hear me? Oh, hardly. Okay. Sorry about that. Is this better right now? Okay, thank you. But I just wanted to mention that there are other major manufacturers, and they all do a nice job. Everyone's approach is different. Rightly or wrongly, we think our approach is the best and the most successful. The gentleman over here had brought up about the limited amount of channels earlier, and not to get too technical, but he's talking about 3 channels versus 6 channels. In our newest products, we went from analyzing the chip technology in 24 channels up to 256 channels. So it's a real boost. So the specificity in these new products are tremendous. As I said earlier, nothing is perfect. We can't fix the damage that's been done in your cochlea, as Dr. Chun had mentioned, but we can try to provide the very best hearing that you can get and understanding with this newer technology. So with that said, any questions about what Dr. Chun has presented so far? Bob. I feel like I know Bob personally.
Yeah, Dave, thank you. Both of me and my new wife here are profound hearing loss, and she wears an Oticon. And is there anything new coming out in the chips in terms of the hearing aids for Oticon in the near future?
For profound hearing loss?
Profound hearing loss.
Okay. You're wearing an Oticon. Do you happen to know what model you're wearing?
Dave's going to come and take a look. Also, I'm looking at the chat. Harry says, how many models of Oticon include both telecoils and Auracast? Great question. We're actually going to talk about some of the products that offer both. Oticon does not have any intention of stopping telecoil in their hearing aids, because I know some of manufacturers have. We know that there's a benefit towards telecoil, and we know that there's a lot of patients who love telecoil. So at this time, as I know, we are going to continue to have both telecoil and Auracast in the hearing aids.
Just to address Bob's question, as far as something new for a very severe to profound hearing loss. Oh, sorry about that. Old habits are tough to break. Just to address Bob's question, as far as new hearing aids for very severe to profound losses, we are working on something new. When that will be available, unfortunately, I don't know. But we will certainly keep you abreast of when something new for that type of hearing loss comes out. And hopefully it'll be before the end of this year. Yes.
I have a question. I'm Marianne. I have my hand raised.
Marianne Yee?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, my question is, okay, it's your PowerPoint says it supports all sound environments and it automatically adapts across changing environments. So if I was in a classroom with 20 people and the teacher's lecturing, and then I go to a, let's pretend I went to a disco, and then it's pretty loud. So would the hearing aid do the adjustment, or do I have to physically change the channels?
It will automatically do the adjustment.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
because it recognizes that it is more of a difficult environment and that you need more noise reduction as well as more enhancement to that speech. So that's the goal. We want you to wear your hearing aids, put them on, and not have to do much with it.
Oh, so I don't wear a hearing aid, so the person would be wearing that hearing aid all the time, and the adjustments happen by themselves all the time.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
There was another question. If you don't mind going to the chat, Tony, and then we're going to talk about some of the technology. Oh, if you go up, before we talk about Catherine's question, there was one by right there, Barbara. So is AI also capturing everything? Someone who wears Oticon. Sorry, Barbara. There we go. So is AI also capturing everything someone who wears Oticon hearing devices is saying? It is not recording or capturing anything. That network, that AI, has already been trained with the sound samples. So if anything, it's picking up and analyzing how much support you need. If it recognizes that noise around you is very high, it's going to make sure that it's going to support you enhancing that speech. So it's not learning in real time because it's actually already been trained. Okay. I think there was also another question, one more, and then we're going to keep going. Do you offer anything for unilateral deafness? In past, I had a crossover hearing aid with limited success. We do, and I would say it's, patient by patient of how well you're going to be able to. I have a lot of patients, or I had a lot of patients who sometimes were not successful with the cross, and they only wore one hearing aid on their better ear, and some people did really great with the cross as well. So we do have updated technology that can, of course, help unilateral deafness. So that is something that we definitely want to make sure that you will continue to stay updated with your hearing care professional. Is there any way I might be able to compare my hearing aid with Oticon hearing aids, sampling various models? I would probably say please reach out to your audiologist or your office that you go for hearing care support. Some offices provide the ability to demo hearing aids so that you be able to kind of see. And sometimes people's brains are used to another manufacturer's compared to another manufacturer's. So you do have the opportunity to demo hearing aids. However, it is up to the discretion of your hearing care professional that you go to. All right.
And Anne, I believe you provide demonstrations to your patients so they can have an opportunity to listen and see how the hearing aids are functioning and so forth? Okay.
And we're also going to bring Anne up at the end so she can introduce herself if you haven't met her. She's an amazing local hearing audiologist near Laguna, so that you have an opportunity to reach out to her if you need any hearing care support. All right, well, I only have 10 more minutes with you all, so I want to make sure that I can cover as much as I can. So before I show you some of the solutions that we have to offer at Oticon, I want to take some remarks from the crowd. Is what would be important for you to have in your hearing aids? What are some of your preferences? Oh, some examples. Some people love Bluetooth connectivity. They want to make sure that they're able to hear their phone, as well as having Auracast compatibility and telecoil as well. Yes.
For me, it would be the adaptive technology.
Okay.
Go from one environment to the other, and it adapts.
Perfect. He said adaptive technology, making sure that it adapts to those different changing environments. Exactly.
Hi.
That microphone is very low. Is there another
I am
microphone?
hearing quite well,
Okay.
but I am not understanding quite
Okay.
well, and it's driving me batsville.
Okay. So she says that she's having trouble understanding. She can hear, but not understand, and it's driving her crazy. Yes. Marilyn says music. She has problems with loud bass noises. Exactly. We're going to take one more. Yes.
Hello. One question I have is about Bluetooth connectivity.
Bluetooth
In the
connectivity.
car.
In the car, yes.
Listening to map directions, I cannot be looking at the map, but when I use my iPhone, I can
Here,
capture
yeah.
what's happening for direction. But it doesn't work with the car map. I have to
Okay.
use my phone, which
Mhm.
is too small. So I want to use the map on the car.
On your car, yeah.
And it doesn't come through.
Got it.
Also phone calls not coming through.
Okay. So she says that she has trouble hearing the car navigation and being able to hear those announcements as well as the phone call coming through. So I would say definitely it depends on the phone model as well as the car that you have being able to be connected. But we can talk a little bit more after. I see a hand raised. Dale?
I'm really frustrated. I wear a Ponto, the bone-anchored hearing aid for single-sided deafness. My earlier models had the local switches that you could adjust the volume, and you also tap to get the various programs. Well, the new improved model has no ability to adjust the hearing aid on the device itself. You need to use your phone. What isn't considered is the fact that it's often, if you're in conversation or a formal event, pulling out your phone and while you're talking to people and adjusting the volume can be seen as rude. And the other place it's a real problem is getting into the car where my purse is on the passenger seat and I'm driving along and the road noise and the wind noise is making it impossible. I'm not going to lean over and try and grab my cell phone.
Yeah, you're not going to bring out your cell phone to change that program, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So having the flexibility of
instead of an improvement, I think it actually took a step back.
Got it. So she was sharing her experience of wearing a bone-anchored hearing aid and that with the improvement that she got with an upgrade, they actually took away being able to change programs utilizing the device. And now she has to use her phone to switch into those different programs. So she feels like that has been a limitation. So some of the suggestions that usually a lot of my patients would also say on top of what you all shared is some people want the rechargeable battery. They want to be able to place it in the charger at night. They wake up, it's already ready to go. Some people also want it really discreet. They don't want anybody to see that they even have hearing aids. And then we also have connectivity. We want to make sure that we are connected to our phone. We could hear our loved ones if possible as well. So with this, let's talk a little bit more of what we have to offer at Oticon. So these are a couple different categories that we have, and some of these also depend on your severity of hearing loss as well. So please keep in mind, if one looks amazing and great, we also have to keep in consideration of your hearing loss too. But of course, we have the styles that go over your ear, and then we of course have a couple different styles that go in the ear. So we're going to talk a couple about the different models that we have with the limited time. So let's just talk about some of the technology. This is a brand new device that Oticon just released at the end of January, and this is what we call the Oticon Zeal. Dr. Majit has been actually wearing his Oticon Zeals this whole entire time in his ears. So this style goes inside the ear and there's nothing behind the ear. This is for about a moderately severe hearing loss in the hearing aids, but you have the full functionality of all of that great sound technology that we talk about. You also have Bluetooth connectivity. You also have Auracast compatibility. I know we talked about telecoil, but this is the one and only device I'm going to mention today that doesn't have telecoil, unfortunately, because of how small it is. But you are still able to connect to your phone, all of that great stuff. Was there a question? Okay. So that is Oticon Zeal, and it is also rechargeable too. So you have all-in-one kind of in that hearing aid itself. I do want to show you how the Oticon Zeal was built. So you have this rechargeable battery inside the hearing aid, and then you have the brain of the hearing aid, that chip, that providing that great sound technology. You do have an accelerometer, and you do have that binaural connection so they talk to each other. You are going to be able to change the same filters. If you are familiar with Oticon or any other manufacturer, you have those wax guards. Then you're going to see essentially a resin material cover all of those components inside, protecting it. And then we are going to insert that antenna that provides you that connectivity to your phone. Also be able to keep that piece inside your ear and even be able to pull it out of your ear too. If you are not a person that likes custom fit hearing aids or custom fit molds, we have the ability to even place kind of a universal cup on there too. So that is Oticon Zeal, our newest product that got released. And this is actually a couple examples of how they look in patients' ears. So if you are, an individual who doesn't want something behind their ears and they want something just in the ear, something just put it in, you have the ability to utilize the Oticon Zeal as well. For my patients who might have a little bit more of a severe hearing loss, this is our current behind the ear hearing aid option, which is Oticon Intent. So this can do a good amount of about up to our severe hearing losses with either the one with the receiver, as well as if you have, an ear mold with tubing. What's unique about Oticon Intent, something that works also on top of the AI that we talked about, is this is actually one of the only hearing aids to have 4D sensor technology. So in the hearing aids, they have accelerometers that detect all of these 4 different sensors. For example, let's say that Dave, let's say he would be wearing his Oticon Intent hearing aids. He's walking, right? The Oticon Intent hearing aids are going to detect that movement, and notice that he's also not talking, that it's going to increase that spatial awareness automatically so that he's aware of everything around him. But let's say now he's going to stop and he's going to do a chit chat with someone. He's going to have a one-on-one conversation. The hearing aids are going to detect that movement stopping, him talking, and that conversation activity. It's going to decrease some of that spatial awareness and increase some of that noise suppression and enhance that speech detail. And this is happening automatically for you in the hearing aids. And even if you are in a group conversation, naturally, when we are in a group conversation, your head moves with your listening intent. So the hearing aids are going to detect that and make sure that it's able to provide that support. So this is available in our Oticon Intent devices. So again, this is something that's on top of the AI technology that we already just discussed. With our hearing aids, we do have the option of rechargeability. If any of you have played around with the child-proof battery packaging, they're adult-proof. I say that too. I told that to my patients. They are adult-proof as well. You need to pull out scissors to cut out that battery packaging. So rechargeability might be easier for you. And with Oticon hearing aids, especially the products that we talked about, for 20 hours of use, just 2 hours in the charger. Isn't that crazy? That's amazing.
How many of you who are wearing hearing aids are using batteries that you have to change? So about almost half of you, okay.
Okay.
And so what's nice, as Dr. Chun mentioned, is that you have a choice now. You can use rechargeability. If you have a cell phone, you charge it the same way, basically. Or if you like to stick to the disposable batteries, now you have a choice.
Yes.
Up until now, you really didn't have a choice for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so at Oticon, we never want to leave anybody behind. So we continue to upgrade technology. And I know with our profound hearing loss individuals, something that I learned about Oticon is that they do not come out with new technology if they cannot tremendously improve what they had before. With Oticon Verit, this just got released last month, mid-April. So for those patients who utilize the batteries and who love the batteries, whether it's convenience, safety reasons, whatever it is, we do have the option of Oticon Verit that provides that updated technology and Bluetooth connectivity too. And all of these hearing aids, except the Oticon Zeal, which is the one that goes in the ear, offers telecoil and Auracast, both of them. Yes, Tony. Serves to charge the hearing aids. Yes, we do have both options. We have a desktop charger where it has to be plugged in all the time, as well as we have a smart charger. That means it has a power bank so that you can be on the go if you like to do road trips, camp, see your loved ones. You don't want to worry about bringing a cable. We also have the option of having that power bank in the charger, and it has up to 3 full charges. Yes. Speaking of connectivity, and I know that I'm a little bit over time, so I appreciate you staying here with me. We also have the connectivity to be able to stream phone calls, music, videos, movies, whatever you listen to, whether it's your iPhone or if you have an Android phone that is more upgraded, those Bluetooth low energy audio. And it is not your responsibility to know if your phone has Bluetooth low energy audio. It is something that your hearing care professional can figure out for you. With this connectivity, we have the ability to also utilize accessories. If you want to use a remote microphone or a TV adapter where you can stream that TV straight into your hearing aids, or if you do want to utilize a remote control, turning it up and down if your fingers are a little bit bigger or you might have any numbness or dexterity issues, you can't reach up and feel those buttons. We also have the ability to utilize a remote control as well. And then a couple last things, and I promise I'll be done, but I want I want to briefly touch upon Auracast technology. I know Tony mentioned it. She's going to learn a lot about it, but our hearing aids that we mentioned today do have the ability to utilize Auracast compatibility. There has actually been a lot of places that have piloted this. Chicago O'Hare Airport, SeaTac Airport. If you love to travel internationally, Sydney Opera House also has Auracast technology. But the idea is that there is a transmitter that you would essentially connect to, just like how you find a Wi-Fi network or a Bluetooth network. You find, let's say, Clubhouse 7. If there was an Auracast transmitter in here, you would click Clubhouse 7. Everything would go directly into your hearing aids. Auracast technology, it's not something that's widely used because a lot of people don't know about it. However, I have had providers and patients tell me that they buy Auracast transmitters, whether over the counter through Amazon, and you technically can, because I had patients utilize it as their TV adapter as well, because if you can plug in that Auracast transmitter, and it could be as small as a little flash drive, or it could be as big as kind of like an internet modem, you plug it into your TV, these Oticon hearing aids can connect to that Auracast transmitter. So at Oticon, we want to make sure that we are ready for technology now as well as for the future. And you do not have to worry about having to set up anything, so that you have the ability to go to that gate at the airport, be able to click it on your phone and hear those real-time announcements straight into your hearing aids. So this is something, again, that's available with the products that we mentioned today, as well as we do, of course, have telecoil. We have a great community, a lot of patients who love telecoil. So we want to make sure we are continuing to provide that as well. That was a very quick rundown of Oticon. I do want to invite Anne up here because she is an audiologist that's local into town, and it's very, very important to consider. Even though we talk about great technology, we want to make sure that you have the great support as well.
And just to, oh, thank you. How do I look? Do I look okay? Okay. You know, and you can be fit with the greatest technology. For instance, we feel obviously that we have really the most up-to-date technology available to help improve people's lives. But if it's not fit properly, you're not going to do nearly as well with our technology as you should. So that's why we much prefer dealing with professionals that really follow the guidelines of the most appropriate methods of fitting, including real ear. And so with that said, I've worked personally with Anne for many, many, many years, and I can certainly say that I don't think there's anyone really better than her. So with that said, Anne?
Thank you, David. He can even say that I fit him with his hearing aids. So there you go. He trusts me. We have had great success with the Oticon hearing aids, especially the new Zeal that they're talking about, the rechargeable in the canal hearing aid. The one thing I will say is it depends on your ear shape. So not everybody is a candidate for that hearing aid because your ear has to be able to accommodate it. But if you're interested, the technology has been amazing and we've gotten great results. We do demos in our office on everyone. So if you want to come in and listen to the technology, we'd love the opportunity to have you do that. Thank you.
With that said, as Ashley mentioned, we really appreciate everyone's attention and participation. You guys are a great group, and thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure. Again, if anyone has any other questions and they'd like to stay a few minutes, both Ashley and I and Ann will be available to address any questions. And again, another thank you for Tony. Thank you, everybody. Okay.
Okay. Will we have firmware updates available ongoing? Your hearing care professionals will. Yes, they will have availability for firmware updates so that all you have to do is go back to your audiologist or to the office you got fit, and they can do a firmware update if it is available. Thank you all so much for joining. Hope you were able to hear me and follow okay. I don't know, Tony, do you have any closing remarks for anybody? Oh, okay.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like give them a hand. I think they did a really great job. David and Ashley, thank you so much. The one thing I do want to say is one piece of information that I would like you to get from the information table. It's a best practices sheet. All the tests you should be getting in order to have the best outcome with hearing aids. So, and Anne does all the best practices listed on that sheet, and it's on the table. Please help yourself. If you have any questions or if you need more information, there's plenty on the table. And I hope to see you in July, ice cream special. Thank you.
I'm so sorry I came late, but is this recording going to be available?
Dale, this is Alan. It will be available.
On the website?